목숨이 위험한 상황. 두 다리와 하늘의 동아줄 뿐. 믿었던 구원의 손길마저 점점 멀어지는 절체절명의 순간. 그들이 인류를 위협하기 시작해.
Jurassic Park 5, The Lost Park Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is not the worst dinosaur-related media I ever watched.
What are those? Ah, those are Triceratops, Baloo. Those are Triceratops. Triceratops!
But it is the worst Jurassic Park movie. Yes, you heard correctly. It's worse than Jurassic Park 3, in my opinion. Before any of you Jurassic World fans click on the dislike button, it's okay for people to have different opinions. Agree to disagree. If all you care about are dinosaurs chasing people, you will love this movie. But the problem is, Jurassic Park used to be about much more than that. The first movie had great characters with great interactions and actual ethical discussions. If you remove Jurassic Park's heart and intelligence, you get Jurassic Park 3. If you add additional stupidity, you get Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And for the record, I did enjoy the previous Jurassic World movie. I watched it 4 times in the cinema. That still doesn't mean I don't have problems with some of its ideas. Stupid ideas like creating genetic hybrid dinosaurs or utilizing dinosaurs as military weapons. We don't use lions or elephants as weapons. Some people tried, but in the modern age of long-range firearms, tanks and drones, a predatory animal isn't worth the effort. And if you want to see weaponized dinosaurs just because it's cool, that's fine, but don't call it a Jurassic Park movie, call it a Dino Riders movie. First, I will tell you what I liked about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Its director, Juan Antonio Bayona, started as a horror movie director. And there are a few very good suspenseful moments in this movie. And some shots of the active volcano looked really good. And if you just care about the dinosaurs, you will love that this movie has so many of them. That's it. My main problem, apart from the stupidity of the plot itself, is the humor in this movie. You may recall the original Jurassic Park had humor, but that was mostly based on character interactions. In this movie, the humor happens during the action scenes, turning them from suspenseful into comically absurd. There are many scenes where a character does something overly confident or extremely stupid because he thinks he escaped from a dinosaur, only for that to immediately backfire on them. The audience in my theater laughed every time, but the more these scenes happened, the more I cringed. Warning! I am now going to spoil the entire movie for you. So if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, skip to the end of this review. However, if you watched all the trailers and TV spots, you have already seen 95% of this movie. There's actually so much footage that I will also use still images, because otherwise Universal might think I am pirating the full movie. The first few minutes of this movie are by far the best part. It starts on Isla Nublar. It is night and raining. This guy is opening the gate to the mosasaur tank, so a mini submarine can enter to collect DNA from the remains of the Indominus Rex. The DNA sample is attached to a buoy, which is then picked up by a helicopter. The mosasaur approaches, and this shot of its eye isn't even in the movie. The mosasaur is only visible as a shadow whenever lightning strikes. It's really suspenseful and we don't even see the attack. The T-Rex approaches, and again, it's only visible whenever lightning strikes. When the guy flees from the T-Rex, he drops the remote and the T-Rex steps on it, causing the gate to stay open. The guy manages just in time to escape the T-Rex, because if a woman in high heels can do it, so can he. While he cheers that he managed to escape death, lightning strikes again to reveal the mosasaur jumping out of the water to grab him. People in my theater laughed at that. And this is how quickly Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom devolved from a suspenseful horror movie into a black comedy. And then we get the opening credits of this movie. In all previous movies, we just have the text fade in together with suspenseful music. In this movie, We see close-ups of CGI lava flow around to form the logo, like in a bad comic book movie. You just have to believe me when I say it looks horrible. Then we have the courtroom scene, that only exists to trick fans of Jeff Goldblum into watching this movie.
Life cannot be contained. Life breaks free. Life finds a way.
Oh my god, he said the thing he said in the original Jurassic Park movie!
I know what that is!
Claire is now working at the dinosaur protection group, which does not make sense for her character. This is the woman who kept calling dinosaurs assets, and when faced with human tragedy said,
"Evacuate the island."
We'd never reopen.
this is a person who values profit over anything else, and we are supposed to believe that she instantly changed her mind after seeing one dying Apatosaurus? Also, the general public probably knows that she is one of the people responsible for the Indominus Rex disaster, so how is this woman not in jail? And even if she had enough money and influence to not go to jail, how can she tell the public who witnessed that horrible Jurassic World tragedy that these animals that have killed so many people deserve to be rescued? That's just bad PR. Claire visits Lockwood, an old rich man who used to work with John Hammond, because Richard Attenborough is dead, but the producers still wanted a John Hammond-esque character in this movie. She is greeted by Mills, a guy in a business suit who couldn't be more obviously evil even if he said "Hail Hydra" directly to her face. They walk through a hallway with some nice dinosaur skeletons and this ridiculously pointy Triceratops skull. It is revealed that Hammond and Lockwood actually started with the genetic dinosaur experiments not on Isla Nublar or Isla Sorna, but in a facility below this mansion. This is such a stupid retcon because the whole point of creating the dinosaurs on an island was to make sure they could never escape into urban places. And now you are telling me that they started with this work in a laboratory under a mansion in California? What? Lockwood also has a granddaughter named Maisy, who loves dinosaurs, because we need to be reminded how captivating dinosaurs are for children. If a child watched the original Jurassic Park movie, Dr. Grant and Tim might inspire that kid to become a paleontologist, to learn more about dinosaurs. What aspirations are these new movies supposed to inspire in children? Lion taming? Mills tells Claire that they want to rescue the dinosaurs and take them to another island where they can live in peace. He wants Owen to help him track down the last Velociraptor. Owen is still sad that his girlfriend has left him. I am not talking about Claire, I am talking about Blue.
Blue is alive. You raised her.
He watches a video of him bonding with his velociraptors when they were babies. This is the kind of backstory that maybe would have helped in the first Jurassic World movie to make his relationship with his raptors more believable. And as cute as those big-eyed baby raptors look, imagine how much cuter they would look if they were feathered. Just saying. Together with some obviously evil mercenaries, Owen, Claire, a dinosaur veterinarian and a comic relief go to Isla Nublar to rescue the dinosaurs. Owen comes across Blue in the jungle and you realize that Chris Pratt has better chemistry with a CGI Velociraptor than with Bryce Dallas Howard. The mercenaries tranquilize Blue, but she gets nervous and attacks one guy who shoots her. Owen gets angry, they tranquilize him and leave him behind. Then we get to the dumbest scene in Jurassic Park history. It's so bad they didn't even put it in any trailer, so I can only describe it, not show it to you. The lava from the volcano is approaching and Owen tries to escape from it while still being paralyzed. So we get the comical scene of him slowly flopping his legs and torso and arms over a log while the hot lava is literally inches away from him. I can suspend my disbelief when it comes to scientists genetically recreating dinosaurs. But I cannot suspend my disbelief when it comes to ridiculous shit like this. Lava is freaking hot, you know. You can't lay on the ground right next to it for several minutes. And playing such a life or death scenario for laughs in a Jurassic Park movie just makes it 10 times worse. Now is the time to address the baryonyx in the room. When I first saw the images of it, I was furious, because for their Jurassic World website they hired an actual paleo artist to create promotional images for dinosaurs that weren't in the movie. But now that they make a sequel where they want to feature these unseen dinosaurs, they ignore his artwork and just create what looks like a non-albino version of Rudy from Ice Age 3. Again, the baryonyx is introduced with the shadow reveal technique, and by now you may have realized this is the only trick this director has up its sleeve, so it's no longer suspenseful but starts to get annoying. Claire and the comic relief try to escape up a ladder, while the baryonyx gets hit by fucking lava raining from the ceiling and is barely affected. What? Is this whole movie a fucking cartoon? We get this supposedly funny scene. And then they escape from the baryonyx. The volcano erupts and Owen, Claire and the comic relief flee from the dinosaurs and the eruption. They seek shelter in a gyrosphere when the Carnotaurus stalks them. Usually, a scene where a meat-eating dinosaur slowly approaches a human should be suspenseful. However, it does not work in this context because we know there's a fucking pyroclastic flow coming their way, so it does not make sense that in the middle of this action scene, the Carnotaurus would stop running from the volcano to fight a Sinoceratops. Why of all the ceratopsians available did they pick Sinoceratops? Is it because it's from China and they want to appease the Chinese market? And then attack the humans. And then the T-Rex interrupts the Carnotaurus and poses against the backdrop of a volcanic eruption. Does that look like it would make a good wallpaper? Yeah. Does it make sense for her to do this instead of running away from a fucking volcano? No, it does not. By the way, a pyroclastic flow is 1000 degrees hot and incredibly dense, so everyone engulfed in it should be dead within seconds. But this is a universe where lava isn't deadly at all, so you just have to shut your brain off. They fall over the cliff and we get an actually suspenseful scene for once. It is a single long take of Claire and the comic relief desperately trying to get out of the gyrosphere while it fills up with water. But since one is the main character and the other one is a teenager in a PG-13 movie, they survive. They realize that the mercenaries and Mills were obviously evil.
It was all a lie!
And sneak aboard their ship where they contained the dinosaurs. We get the final scene of Isla Nublar going up in flames and smoke. That should be tear-jerking, but after that stupid lava scene I am no longer capable of feeling any emotions except rage. Owen meets his raptor girlfriend and we get one of the few scenes with an actual animatronic on screen. According to this interview, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has more animatronics than any other Jurassic Park movie. Yeah, that's bullshit. The Lost World had a whole T-Rex family, a young and an adult Stegosaurus, a Triceratops, a Pachycephalosaurus, at least one raptor and a fuck ton of compies. The only animatronics I saw in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom were Blue, the T-Rex, and maybe 2 scenes of the Indoraptor. Everything else looked CGI. In fact, even Blue's animatronics sometimes had CGI eyes. Blue is losing blood because of the gunshot wound, so they need to give her a blood transfusion from another theropod.
You gotta be kidding me.
Even though this scene has an animatronic T-Rex, it highlights how much the use of animatronics has fallen since the original. In the first Jurassic Park movie, the T-Rex animatronic is standing and can move its jaws, its head and its neck around. The animatronic in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is lying down and really just moves its head a little bit from side to side and opens its jaws a few times. And when it has to move around a little bit more, it switches from animatronics to CGI. It also has to be CGI because this scene where Chris Pratt jumps through a closing T-Rex mouth is a stunt so stupid they couldn't even physically perform it with the actual animatronic. The dinosaurs are brought to the Lockwood mansion and Owen and Claire get captured and thrown into a cell. Mills meets the evil scientist from Captain America who wants to sell the dinosaurs on an auction. They also talk about their newest creation, the Indoraptor. A hybrid with a name that would translate as Indian robber, by the way. It's a hybrid of a Turok raptor and a King Kong raptor. What a creative design. I miss the times when Jurassic Park movies showed you how fascinating real dinosaurs were, instead of just constantly reinventing raptor designs. I know many people don't care about scientific accuracies, but a completely feathered raptor design would at least be something new and different. Remember what made the Indominus Rex useful for the military? It was able to communicate with other dinosaurs, could camouflage itself and change its heat signature to be undetectable. The Indoraptor displays none of these traits, or if they are there, it never uses them. The main argument for the Indoraptor being an improvement is because the smaller size makes it easier to infiltrate buildings. But when you watch this movie, you will realize it is still too big and heavy because it keeps destroying stuff inside the mansion. There is no logical reason to make the Indoraptor twice as large as the Velociraptor. At this rate, the next movie, Jurassic World 3 Extinction, is gonna have an Indo-compy. Maisy follows them into the underground lab where she sees the Indoraptor. Mills locks her in her bedroom so she doesn't tell anybody, and then murders Lockwood with a pillow, because we need to make sure everyone in the audience understands that he's the bad guy. The dinosaur auction starts and they taser the dinosaurs just to get these fucking silhouette shots again. They also demonstrate that the Indoraptor is trained to attack things marked with a laser pointer if a triggering sound is played. This is going to cause its downfall later in the movie. Now the movie tries to have an emotional scene.
Do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? First time you see them, it's like a miracle. You read about them in books, you see the bones in museums, but you don't really believe it. They're like myths. And then you see the first one alive.
Can we just focus on the asset, please?
Fuck you, Claire. Fuck you. Owen uses a sticky Moloch to break out of the cell and then lets it rampage through the auction. For the first time, a pachycephalosaurid is actually doing something plot relevant in a movie or TV show. I guess the discrimination is finally over. Unfortunately, the sticky Moloch makes several people fly through the air, again turning an action scene into a scene played for laughs. Then we get to the dumbest dinosaur scene in Jurassic Park history. While Owen flopping away from lava is the dumbest scene period, the Indoraptor escape is the dumbest scene involving dinosaurs. So after the sticky Moloch has chased everyone out of the auction hall, one of the mercenaries enters the hall. His gimmick is that he collects dinosaur teeth as trophies, so he sees the Indoraptor still inside its cage and shoots some tranquilizer darts at it. This is the only time where the Indoraptor actually displays intelligence in this movie, because it fakes being tranquilized. Then the mercenary opens the fucking cage to get inside and get an Indoraptor tooth. People in my theater were shouting at his stupidity. But it gets cringier. While he tries to take out a tooth, we see the Indoraptor waving its tail in the background to distract him, and the Indoraptor grins. I am not kidding you, it fucking grins at the camera like we're watching a fucking cartoon. While it kills the mercenary, the auctioneer sneaks to the elevator and we get another comical shot where we see several guests pressed up against the elevator walls to hide from the Indoraptor. Then the guy pushes a woman away from the wall, and when she sees the Indoraptor, she screams. Why? Just why would she scream? Because of this scream, the Indoraptor notices her and runs towards the elevator. The auctioneer closes the elevator in time, but the Indoraptor inadvertently smashes the control board and the elevator reopens. The joke plays out exactly like in the baryonyx scene, except this time all the people die because they're the bad guys. I might have to point out that I do not mind black comedy in general, but this isn't the Cabin in the Woods, it's a fucking Jurassic Park movie. This mixture of legitimate horror, black comedy and action in a PG-13 movie just comes across as schizophrenic. The veterinarian and the comic relief Free Blue, who kills the bad guys and causes one of them to shoot at gas tanks so we can have a scene where a raptor outruns a fucking explosion. Owen, Claire and Maisy run into Mills, who drops the biggest bombshell in Jurassic Park history. Are you ready for this? Okay. Maisy is a fucking clone. Yes, there are now human clones in the Jurassic Park franchise. Also, Do you realize the implications of this? We have weaponized genetic dinosaur hybrids and we have genetically created humans. From there, it's just a small step to create dinosaur-human hybrid soldiers and ruin the Jurassic Park franchise forever.
It's so bad it's gonna happen!
Cloning people is the kind of ethical dilemma that should be treated carefully, but the movie doesn't pause to address that. We head straight into Indoraptor action scenes. Maisy escapes by climbing into a food elevator and they directly copy this scene from the original Jurassic Park movie.
I clapped when I saw it!
The Indoraptor climbs on top of the roof to pose for the trailers, then it enters Maisy's bedroom. Again, this slowly paced scene would be terrifying and suspenseful in any horror movie. However, just a few minutes ago we saw the Indoraptor chasing her like this. So it doesn't make sense why it would now approach her that slowly. The only reason it does that is because it knows the movie's PG-13, so it just stalls until Chris Pratt shows up. However, since the Indoraptor is apparently bulletproof, finally something that makes sense for it to be used as a military weapon, Blue now has to save them. Owen and Maisy climb onto a glass roof and the Indoraptor follows him. Claire uses the laser pointer to make the Indoraptor break the glass. The Indoraptor clings to the ceiling, but then Blue jumps on it and they both fall down. Guess where the Indoraptor lands? That's right! Those ridiculously pointy Triceratops horns were plot relevant. What the fuck? Now that the Indoraptor is dead, you might think the movie's over. However, some of the damaged gas tanks contain a poisonous gas that is threatening to kill the last remaining dinosaurs on this planet. Claire wants to save them by opening the gate into the wilderness, but remember,
We're not on an island anymore.
by the way, this trailer line
There's a town 5 miles from here.
is not in the movie, because the editor must have realized that it would make Claire look like a fucking sociopath in this scene. Because even though she's already responsible for every catastrophe caused by the Indominus Rex, now she is so attached to dinosaurs that she puts their lives over those of millions of people. She then decides to do the smart thing and not release them. But we can't end a Jurassic Park movie with the dinosaurs actually going extinct, so now Maisy opens the gate. And what do the dinosaurs immediately do? They kill people. Granted, they are all bad guys, but imagine if some random innocents were just taking a walk through the woods. I haven't seen such a terrible save the animals theme since Star Wars The Last Jedi. So, whenever a person dies in Jurassic World 3 Extinction, you now know it was all the fault of a small girl who loved dinosaurs. The T-Rex eats Mills and does the exact same pose from the end of Jurassic Park 1. Because after seeing this trash, the best thing is really to be immediately reminded how good this franchise started. Then we see Jeff Goldblum in the courtroom again. He provides voiceover for a montage of prehistoric animals interacting with the modern world. The mosasaur attacks some surfers and the T-Rex runs into Simba the King Lion. Holy shit, never mind! This is the best crossover in history!
I never thought I'd actually have to fight a dinosaur.
You can say that again.
I never thought I'd actually have to fight a dinosaur.
They even replicate the final shot of Jurassic World, but instead of the T-Rex, it's Blue, because now that she has T-Rex blood in her DNA, she just can't help but pose for the camera. Jeff Goldblum ends the movie by saying the line that was in the fucking trailer.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
And that was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, vacant, audience-insulting moment of it.
A few of the horror elements are good, but the black comedy in this movie is terrible. The action set pieces are cartoony, and the plot points range from stupid to downright insulting to the franchise. Claire's animal love is incredibly out of character, and everyone else is nothing but a one-dimensional stereotype. If you just care about the dinosaur scenes, you will still love this movie. On the other hand, you can get that experience pretty much just from watching all the trailers and TV spots spliced together. Unless some fellow students drag me to the cinema again. I will definitely stay away from this movie for the rest of my life. Goodbye und auf Wiedersehen.
I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, I've been deed, I've been died, I've been deed, I've been died.